It's a very concerning one, actually. Two National Guard members have been shot in Washington, D.C. is what we are learning, just blocks from the White House. Authorities say that one of the guards fired back at the shooters. The suspect is now in custody, and the investigators are reviewing the video to find out the motive behind the attack. As far as the FBI, Homeland Security and local police are concerned, they're jointly investigating this shooting. No motive has been confirmed yet. No claim of responsibility has been taken so far. No established link to any extremist network has so far emerged. But officials are saying that they're still verifying at the background of the person that has been nabbed. Immigration papers and digital footprint is also being looked into. The incident, however, has kicked off a major political storm in Washington, D.C. in response to the statement, National Guard presence in the capital has been increased. Have a look.
We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where two of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around.
Let's get you more details about the shooting. A security breach just blocks away from the White House has triggered massive fear, alert and political outrage in the United States. A man accused of opening fire onto two national security guards, soldiers near presidential ground, has been identified as a 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakanwal. The suspect is believed to be an Afghan national who entered the United States in 2021 and after the Taliban takeover, and is now at the center of a major security investigation. Let me go across to my colleague Srinjoy, who's been tracking all the details. Srinjoy, this is very concerning. We are learning that the United States president was not in Washington, D.C. He was in fact in Florida when the shootout took place. But what has police said so far as the motive is concerned? Because what has come to the fore is that this person is an Afghan national.
That is being investigated. But the fact that it's an Afghan national and the fact that he shot two National Guard policemen right outside the White House is actually very concerning. So the first thing that is being investigated is whether he's part of a larger network like ISIS, like the Al-Qaeda or some other organization of that kind. Now, that is the first thing that the investigators will have to find out. Who are the people behind it, if there are? Is he a member of ISIS? Is he a supporter of ISIS or of the Al-Qaeda or of a similar organization? That's the first thing that has to be worked out. The other, of course, is a larger political problem in America. Because now that this has happened, more National Guardsmen will be deployed in Washington, D.C. Now, this is something the opposition in America, the Democrats, are very concerned about. They are claiming that the president is deploying the National Guard in Democrat-held cities, whether it's Portland, whether it's parts of North Carolina, whether it's Washington, D.C., of course, and other parts of the country. So that is something like LA, for instance. Now, this is something the Democrats are very worried about. They do not see this as a particularly good sign. Why should National Guardsmen, who are part of the federal network, why should they be deployed in Democrat-held cities, politically that are blue cities? Now that is, the Democrats see this as a kind of infringement. Now that has to be worked out, of course, but before that, and in a separate situation, we have to find out whether the shooter was acting alone or whether he's part of a larger network like the Al-Qaeda, like the ISIS, or any other organization of this type.
Absolutely. Srinjoy, stay on with us. In fact, we have a reaction coming in from the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Have a look at that.
We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. We will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. And I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr. Pete.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down.
Excuse
we think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We had a couple of great, productive meetings with the President and Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. We are going to go after narco-terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco-terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you. Because we have all the rights in the world. We've got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts, and we know exactly who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison that has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it. And we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic and other countries very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much. It's been a great series of meetings.
Thank you very much.
Let me once again go across to my colleague Srinjoy. Srinjoy, this exposes gun violence in the United States as well, and security lapse on the part of the government as well. And we are showing our viewers the photo of the 29-year-old Afghan national who is in the center of this storm, who's the main suspect in this case and has been nabbed. Tell us more about him and also about the ground situation, because we're learning that over 500 more troops have been sent to Washington, D.C.
First of all, he's been in America for about 4 years. As you rightly said, he's Afghan, about 30 years old. Now, what his political affiliations are, who he supports, and who he works for, whether it's a terrorist organization or not, is being worked out. That's the very critical question. Is he acting alone, or is he part of some Al-Qaeda or ISIS nexus. That's the important thing, and that's the first thing that they will try and find out. Of course, it's very easy to get weapons in America. About that, there is no doubt. Also, the addition of 500 more National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. is, again, something Democrats will question because it's a Democrat-held city. It's a blue city. The mayor is blue, is a Democrat. So as a result, this is something the Democrats have been very uneasy about. They don't want National Guardsmen in blue cities, whether it's Portland, Los Angeles, parts of North Carolina, Washington, D.C., and so on. But in this case, after this attack on 2 National Guardsmen right outside the White House, of course, the president himself was not here. He was in Florida. The point is the government is making sure that there will be more National Guardsmen, and presumably they will be close to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Absolutely. In fact, Shinjoy, stay on with us. I'm joined by international affairs expert Patikrit Pan. Thanks so much for connecting with us here on Times Now. How do you look at this entire incident that has happened in the United States? Another shootout, but this time near the White House, that clearly exposes the gun violence there. We're learning that this person that has been nabbed is from Afghanistan. Please give us your perspective on this.
Yeah, there are 2 aspects to it. Number one, the easy availability of guns in the United States does make it very much more convenient and easy for anyone who is trying to do any kind of act of terror or subversion in the United States. And secondly, I think there are deep-rooted divides that still exist. There is a problem of immigration. All kinds of radical elements do exist in the United States. And I think for many of such, people from Afghanistan or some other countries, there are deep-rooted, potentially memories of American invasion and devastation that has happened there. Nevertheless, an attack is an attack, a terror attack is a terror attack, and it has to be dealt severely. But United States does need to introspect on many issues, whether it's about the proliferation of the guns or its own history of invasions in other countries. That may be the reason for such anger. And last but not the least, the issue of radicalization does exist, and it is the same Pakistan or the Afghan region where it has been spawned for so many decades. United States is still, again, once more pampering Pakistan and its establishment, which has been, harboring, nurturing, incubating that radicalization for so long, and it's still doing it. So I think somewhere, I would not in any way endorse, but I think these kind of incidents are a wake-up call for the United States also for various of its policies, including the gun policy or the kind of soft support that it gives to political Islam or radicalization in other countries for its own benefit also.
Absolutely. This exposes the gun violence. What was the motive behind it is something that will come to the fore in fact, coming days. Thank you so much for your perspective. In fact, the reaction is coming from Donald Trump on this. He said, and I quote, "The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both of them being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is now severely wounded, but regardless will pay a steep price. God bless the great National Guard and all of the military and law enforcement. These are truly great people, as I, the President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, I am with you." So this is what Donald Trump has posted on social media. We're learning that he was not in the White House or in Washington, D.C. when this incident happened. He was in Florida. But right now, as far as the updates are concerned, we're learning that the person, an Afghan national, has been taken into custody. This remains the top focus story for us here on Times Now. We'll be back after a short break. Keep watching Times Now.